But first, we're going to do a little bit of a talk about the draft.
Yeah, so let's recap the draft real quick. I think I'll go first because it'll be a little bit quicker and easier for me, and you can kind of think about what you want to say. But as a 49er fan, it's hard for me to get excited about the draft now because we're not in a rebuilding phase. We have our foundation set. Obviously, we can add great players through the draft, but we don't have draft capital. We had a second round pick, and then we traded that for Christian McCaffrey. And honestly, I think it was a good trade, and the offense really took off.
Oh, yeah.
So, what I think about the draft is I don't really have many thoughts on it because with Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't even trust rookies all that often. And so I could think, oh yeah, this is a really great pick, but it's just hard for me to really say that and really mean it because we won't really know until training camp and honestly like the season how much these guys are even going to be able to contribute or where they'll be on the depth chart.
Yeah.
And so, they took a kicker in the third round, and maybe he's the best kicker in the draft. I really hope he is. He should be a contributor to this team. But taking a kicker with one of your highest picks, that should tell you almost everything you need to know about where the Niners' priorities were in terms of building their football team. Mm-hmm. So I'll know more as the offseason progresses and as the regular season plays out a little bit about these players, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on them. Mike, would you like to talk about the Raiders?
Absolutely. I will say two things about the Niners draft. I think your first pick that you guys made, you guys traded up for Jair Brown. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but
I think it's Jair Brown. But
Jair, yeah. I liked the idea of him for the Raiders, so I thought, okay, like that's an interesting pick for the Niners. Like, I know you guys have Hufanga and I'm forgetting the guy's name.
Tayshaun Gibson.
Yes, I feel like this guy Brown, he will be a good third, maybe fourth safety for you guys that might be able to come in on certain packages and whatnot. And then for the kicker, that was hilarious in the moment, but that was like the second to last or third to last pick of the third round. So the next, the fourth round was the next morning. And about 12 picks into the fourth round, the Patriots picked a kicker. So in the moment, it felt like, whoa, that's a massive reach. But I think in hindsight, with the Patriots going out and picking a kicker, that's a tongue twister. Picking a kicker. Really soon afterwards, it feels like, well, the positive that you could take from that is, hey, the Niners got their kicker. Like, Robbie Gould apparently isn't coming back. At least I don't think. So they got the guy that they trust the most. And, that's going to be the rookie that Shanahan's going to have to trust because kickers are important, and if they got it right, that's huge. There was a day way back in 2000 or 2001, whichever year, when the Raiders picked a kicker in the first round named Sebastian Janikowski.
And Sebastian Janikowski went on to be the best kicker who ever lived.
Yeah.
The end. No. I'm just playing. But no. Janikowski had a great career. And you could argue he was worth the pick. Although I would have to really look at that draft. The Raiders probably could have gotten a player that maybe, like a fundamental piece.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it doesn't matter because you need 53 good players and not just like one. And is Janikowski the highest scoring Raider of all time?
Yes, he is. So it was worth it in a sense. But the place where drafting kickers and punters becomes a question is opportunity cost, like you mentioned. Maybe they wait till the second or even third round. Nobody else is thinking, yeah, we're going to pick this kicker in the second round. Like, the Raiders doing that was like, it was probably Al Davis flipping everybody off, including the media. Like, that's what that was. And because he was maybe a little cocky and he felt, my team's good. We're good to roll. A year or two later, they went to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they lost. And I think, the way to look at it would be that Raiders team felt that they were in a similar place as the Niners' current team is now, where, hey, we need a kicker that can score those points that we need to score. We can't be having these missed field goals. It's
What
worth
year
it.
did they draft Janikowski?
It was either 2000 or 2001. I'm not sure.
So he was on the team that went to the Super Bowl?
Yep. Absolutely.
You know what? It's hard for me to say that if they would have drafted, another player that they maybe win that Super Bowl, because that Super Bowl was just so one-sided.
Yeah, and the whole coaching aspect with John Gruden being traded the offseason prior, it's like,
yeah, Gruden knew all the plays and everything, and so
because they kept the offensive coordinator. Yeah,
the Bucks knew exactly what was coming, so you can't really say that one decision would have changed the trajectory of that season.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, but Janikowski probably helped them get to that Super Bowl. The years prior it was like an AFC Championship and divisional playoffs or whatever. The Tuck Rule game. But if you can still get him in the second round or even the third round, and you can pick maybe a top tier defender in the first round, it's like that's the difference.